BTS News Today. In a colorful world called K-pop, no one can really predict the direction of emotions, expressions, and connections between people, even more so when we talk about one of the most attention-grabbing duos in BTS history, Jikook. When Jimin and Jungkook's names are paired in one frame, one stage, or one laugh thrown together, the world seems to be holding its breath. But today, we are given a sweet yet poignant warning: don't fall in love with Jikook. Today, the ARMY world is shocked by a number of moments that not only touch the heart, but also jerk the consciousness. Jikook, such an enticing combination of Park Jimin and Jungkook, again sparked a spark of emotion that was hard to guess the end. They don't say much, but small gestures, meaningful looks, and emotional silence form a wordless narrative. And when the short 8-second video went viral on social media, the entire fan community was in an uproar. Some say it's just an ordinary moment, but for those who follow Jikook for a long time, it's not just any moment. It was a long-held emotional outburst. In the video, Jimin appears to be sitting alone in the training room, clutching a bottle of water while staring at his phone screen. Jungkook came from behind, not realizing the camera was recording. He looked at Jimin with an expression that was difficult to interpret, between longing, anxiety, and admiration. It does not immediately approach. He just stood as if he were deciding whether to take a step or remain silent. The moment lasted only a few seconds before Jimin turned his head and noticed Jungkook's presence. His face changed. There was a sudden warmth enveloping the space. Jungkook finally walked over and without a word gave only a smile. Jimin nodded slowly. There is no dialogue, no hugs, but there is no ARMY that does not feel the strong vibrations of that interaction. Since then, the internet has exploded. What is going on with Jikook? It became the main question that flooded social media. Today, however, we don't just want to unravel what happened. We want to analyze why Jikook, in his silence, was able to shake the whole world, and why, like today's title, we are advised not to fall in love with them, because falling in love with a story that is never given certainty will only hurt those who expect too much. Jimin and Jungkook aren't just group mates. From the very beginning of the debut, both showed interesting dynamics. Jimin, who is older, protective, and sensitive, always seems to protect the once shy and curious Jungkook. In many BTS documentaries, we see how Jimin embraces, advises, even comforts Jungkook in difficult situations. Instead, Jungkook grows up to be an independent and mature man, but his eyes always return to Jimin when he needs a sense of security. The two form a relationship that cannot be defined with ordinary words, but their relationship is not without stress. With millions of eyes watching their every move, every touch or gaze can be the subject of speculation. Many fans see them as fan service, but many also believe that the two are bound together by something deeper than just performing on stage. And in the midst of it all, they chose silence. Beautiful silence, yet excruciating. They never allow, nor do they object. They just kept walking together, occasionally staring at each other like two planets circling each other in orbits that never hit each other, but never really separated either. Some time ago, in a group interview that was not very publicized, Jimin implicitly mentioned that he often felt lonely despite being surrounded by many people. Jungkook, who was by her side at the time, turned his head quickly and looked at Jimin for a few seconds before replying, "But you know, we're always there for each other, right?" The sentence is simple. But for Jikook fans, it was an unspoken declaration of love in person. Today, all those little moments seem to come back to the surface. The ARMYs rediscussed their interactions over the years, trying to piece together the puzzle pieces to understand their connection. There was laughter, there were tears, there was a hidden jealousy that was occasionally seen behind their calm faces. And when one fan site released backstage footage of their old concert, which showed Jimin hugging Jungkook from behind and leaning his chin on Magne's shoulder, the whole fandom exploded. Was it just a friendly hug? Or is it something more than that? Nobody knows. And perhaps no one will ever really know, but here lies the beauty as well as suffering become part of Jikook's journey. We are allowed to see, to feel, but not given permission to have certainty. We are invited to dance in an intricate maze of flavors without knowing if we will come out with a smile or a wound. Perhaps that is why we are warned today: do not fall in love with Jikook, because to fall in love with them means to be ready for any uncertainty. Ready to receive their smiles are sweet but full of mystery. He received a warm hug but never an explanation. ready to cry watching them keep their distance in front of the camera, then laugh behind the scenes. Jikook is no ordinary love story. They are unfinished poems, songs that have no end, eyes that speak more than mouths. And we, as spectators, can only listen with the heart. At the end of the day, do Jimin and Jungkook love each other? Only they know the answer. But one thing is certain, their connection is real. Whether it's as best friends, brothers, or more than that, their relationship has weathered the storm and stayed afloat. And perhaps that is enough to make us believe that love does not always have to be declared. Sometimes love just needs to be felt. But for anyone starting to put their heart into Jikook's story, remember, this is not a fictional story that can be determined by the end. This is a veiled statement. If you love Jikook too deeply, you must also be ready to get lost between hope and reality. Therefore, today, the most important news is a warning. Do not fall in love with Jikook if your heart is not ready to break in the most beautiful way. But if you ask the army, will we stop loving Jikook? Then the answer will be unison, never. Part of the beauty of Jikook's story lies in how they create a safe space amidst the spotlight of the world. In the thousands of hours of content released, from BTS Run, Bon Voyage to personal documentaries like Break the Silence, they seem to know each other in a way that sometimes even seems deeper than just a casual friendship. Jungkook knew when Jimin was pretending to smile. Jimin knows when Jungkook just needs a hug without a word. They do not need to talk at length, just one look or one slow touch to understand each other. One of the moments that fans remember the most was during a concert in Paris a few years ago. At that time, Jimin suffered a minor injury and seemed to have difficulty moving on stage. Jungkook, who was performing with great energy at the time, suddenly walked up to her, holding her arm and looking anxiously at her face, as if forgetting that thousands of pairs of eyes were watching. Jimin just smiled a little, trying to hide his pain, and Jungkook responded by briefly embracing him before returning to his position. Not a word was heard, but it was one of those moments that imprinted so deeply in the hearts of the army. Because in that silence, there is love, and here's the biggest irony: precisely because love is so real, we're reminded not to fall too deeply. Because their love, if it exists, is not for public consumption. It is a love that is born in silence, grows in sincerity, and expands within the limitations of space as well as time. A love that is never labeled, yet feels stronger than just words. Recently, a behind-the-scenes interview of their concert rehearsals reignited the conversation about the intensity of Jikook's relationship. When asked who they relied on the most when feeling depressed, Jungkook quickly mentioned Jimin's name. But instead of just saying it, he said it in a deep, almost emotional tone, like it was carrying all the memories he couldn't tell one by one. Jimin, who was next to him, just laughed a little and lowered his head. No compliments, no sweet replies. There is only shame that implies one thing: he knows and he feels it too.